to you all watching this edition of The Book with Suzy. I am glad to know that you have taken this other appointment, a weekly rendezvous where we bring you authors and ideas that help make sense of our world and our communities. Today we are talking about something we all face: conflict in a diverse society. My guest, Eunice, who is present here already, whose new book, How to Reach a Consensus in a Multicultural Context, argues that no conflict is too far gone to be solved if the people involved are ready to resolve it. It's a pleasure to have you on this program today.
The pleasure is shared.
Okay.
Yeah, it's shared.
You know, this is your research program, research book with research publication, which we are treating today. How to Reach a Consensus in a Multicultural Context. The title is direct. I guess that what made you to write on this subject matter is the current crisis we are facing in Cameroon today, or there is something more to it?
That is the main reason why I wrote this book. As a Cameroonian who loves her country, I couldn't stay indifferent to what is happening in the Northwest and in the Southwest, and in other parts of the country too, like in the North, for example. So as a Cameroonian, I thought that I should contribute to resolving this problem at my own level as a researcher. That's why I went in to study on how to reach a consensus in a multicultural context in order to resolve the problem.
And was it easy for you to go through this research, or you had challenges along the way?
It wasn't really easy. There were challenges because I had to go to the Northwest, to the Southwest, to listen to what people were saying, get their own points of view, first-hand information, listen to the radio, to the media, to politicians, even to men of God, to get their own points of view in order to come out with a general reason. Yes.
Okay. I wish to read this statement in the book, okay? It is, you say there is no smoke without fire, and there is no fire that cannot be quenched no matter how far it has fled. Now, I want to ask you, what is the most stubborn fire you have seen in your research that eventually got resolved?
I've seen where somebody vows in a family context that over her dead body or over his death body. But at the end, with the family love, with counseling, with advice, with the word of God, they come to a compromise and they reconcile. Yes, so I believe that there is no smoke without fire, and there's no fire that can be quenched, even in real life situations.
Okay.
Even if fire flares to what level, and we are ready, we have the tools to quench it, and we are willing to do it, we'll quench it.
Okay.
Yes.
And this book offers those tools.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We understand that the book deals with conflict management across cultures. How does consensus building work in reality, or as per your research?
Okay. First of all, I would like to explain what I mean by consensus.
Okay.
A consensus is a group or collective process wherein the input of all the participants involved is taken into consideration, and an output or an outcome is crafted that best meets the needs of all the members of the group. With a consensus, you don't cancel the problem. You accept that there is a problem. You bring the problem together on the table. You discuss the issue, and then you come out with a compromise, with an agreement that everybody can bear or can stand, no matter their frustrations. At least there's a middle point where everybody can agree despite the differences. Okay. Yes. So in order to reach a consensus, or in order to build a consensus, the first thing is to accept that there is a problem. Agree that there's a problem. Look at the problem at stake. What is wrong? Who are those involved? Then you look for people, delegate people who are able to manage the situation, and then make the path straight for communication. Because if they are not willing, it cannot go.
Right now, we want to take Dr. Apena Dixon, who has the foreword of this book. He has to tell us the reason why you, watching this edition, you should be eager to grab a copy and read. Let's watch.
Greetings, Susan. Dr. Eunice is a budding scholar whose research interest goes across several linguistic, social, and cultural contexts. How to reach a consensus in a multicultural context is a wonderful spillover from her past and current research. This book is not only timely, but it is a necessity in the complex and multilingual context of Cameroon, which is characterized by intolerance, misunderstanding, and superiority complex, just to name these few, thereby opening widely the doors of all kinds of conflicts. This book is therefore a welcome relief, as it will serve as a guide to all the stakeholders involved in social, cultural, and political dialogue, and equally foster intercultural communication among Cameroonians of all walks of life. I am therefore pleased to recommend this book to students, political, religious, and cultural actors who on a daily basis are faced with the challenge of ensuring peaceful coexistence and fostering peace and harmonious living together. There is no doubt, therefore, that this book will help immensely in the consolidation of the achievements in the area of meaningful dialogue, but more importantly, in the determination of all and sundry in building a strong, just, and more equitable society. The book is well researched, as illustrated with examples drawn from our immediate environment and our day-to-day activities. The language and style is simple and reader-friendly, thus making it accessible to all, irrespective of level of education. Susan, I would like to say that this book is rich. If you go for this book, you wouldn't regret your choice.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of The Book with Suzy, and we are glad to have Eunice Ndemdi with her research publication, How to Reach a Consensus in a Multicultural Context. One of the things you argue in this research publication, Dr. Eunice, is that tools and measures to resolve a problem fail without willingness. What is the one thing that shifts people from unwillingness to wanting to talk?
I believe there's self-centeredness, egocentricity. Only my own will work. Me and me. We are rigid. We don't want to bear with others. That is the first reason. If you are generous in your ideas, you will be welcoming to sit on the table, to discuss issues and to reconcile. But when you are rigid, when you are self-centered, you only want your own to work and not the other person's own. Yes.
Self-centeredness.
Yes.
A great danger to reach a consensus.
Yes. But what keeps people from abstaining is because they want only their own position to work. They don't want to listen to the other party. They think it's only their own point that is pressing. They don't care about the others. They see only into their own problem. But if they understand that they have problems, others too may have problems, or maybe at times they even think they have a problem when they don't have a problem. What they think is a problem is even a solution to the other party. So we should be generous enough, willing enough, ready enough to listen to each other, to listen to one another in order to agree.
And in this case, communication plays a very vital role.
Yeah, a very vital role.
Okay.
Yes.
And who carries out the communication?
The communication is done by the participant involved. I talked about consensus and participants involved. You know, the participants are people who disagree in one way or the other. So they have to come to the table with the help of mediators. for dialogue to take place.
Okay.
So in that context, the participants are the mediators, the petitioners, and even the scapegoats. Yes.
And definitely they should have qualities. Not everybody acts as a mediator.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mediators should be people who are credible, people who can talk and people listen to them, people who are trustworthy, people who master the problem at stake. They should be experts in the field to talk about an issue. There should be people that are loved, liking. Cialdini talks about liking, personality. There are some people that if they invite you to table, you will come because you love them, you like their way of doing things. Exactly. So liking too is another quality of a mediator. Then there should be role models. You don't take somebody who doesn't have manners to come to talk about, to come to reconcile people. So there should be role models. They should be humble.
Okay.
They should be humble and polite.
Okay.
And then they should possess the skills of persuasion.
Okay.
They should be able to convince people to change their attitude.
Okay.
Yes.
Cameroon is one of the most culturally diverse countries in Africa that we all know. What part of your framework is most urgent for our context right now?
Okay, Cameroon, what we need in Cameroon is national integration, national unity. There is no way we can pretend we have differences. We come from various backgrounds,
Yes.
and we must come to terms in order to live together. So in Cameroon, that's why this book is also very important, because that consensus, the main objective of the consensus is to bring Cameroonians to table on a platform with their differences, cultural backgrounds, linguistic backgrounds, their different worldviews. You bring them to table to discuss things that are important for the well-being of all Cameroonians, irrespective of our differences. Coming to terms on a consensus doesn't mean that we will erase our cultural diversity. No.
Not at all.
I come from the Northwest with my tradition.
I come from the littoral.
With your own tradition. Somebody from the East, from the South, from the West, we all come on the same table to talk about Cameroon, about the well-being of our nation. With our differences, we are not erasing any differences. There's variety. There's beauty in
diversity.
Variety. Yes, there's beauty in diversity.
Okay.
Because that when we come together, there's variety. That's very beautiful.
Which is very beautiful.
And it's good for the development of our nation. Unity is strength.
Yeah.
And God conceives it that way. He says, how wonderful it is when brethren fellowship together in harmony. He goes further to say it is like anointing oil poured on Aaron's head that goes down through his beard and goes down to the collar of his dress. So you can imagine it is like dew from Mount Hermon that goes down to Mount Zion. You know what dew can do? That's the beauty of living together, the beauty of unity.
Thank you for showcasing your evangelistic skills. Okay, well, it's on that light note that we are introducing you into our Vox Pop today. What is the one thing that helps you and someone with different views actually reach an agreement? That's the question we put out there for people to give their own opinion, and let us find out what they had to say.
Most often in my workplace, I always like have disagreements or tend to form arguments with other people, like colleagues with different views or different ideas. What actually always helps me to like calm down and see what they're doing is my nature of being humble and like always compromising and always like trying to look things from the other way. So I think the fact that I'm always humble and the fact that I'm always like to compromise and let peace reign makes me to always like understand and come to a compromise with people who have other views that differs from mine.
I think what makes I and somebody with different views to come to an agreement is that I'm somebody who quickly let go. I don't hang on a particular idea and make the other person feel inferior. So I just let go to make peace to reign and an agreement to come between us so that we can happily take a decision.
You're welcome back to the book with Suzy, and we are so elated to have Dr. Eunice Ndemdi in the studio with her research or publication titled How to Reach a Consensus in a Multicultural Context. Now, if you had to give one chapter of the book to a mayor, a community leader, and a university student, which chapter will each of them get and why?
Okay. To university students, I will give them the chapter on the power of communication, the power of persuasion, communication strategies.
Okay.
Yes, I will give them that one. Then I will give to the mayors.
Why? Tell me why you will give the university students that one.
Okay, because it goes in line with sociolinguistics.
Okay.
That's a branch in the university.
Okay.
Yes, communication skills.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And to community leaders?
To community leaders, I will give them the chapter 1 and chapter 2.
Which is multicultural context of Cameroon?
Yes.
And the need for a consensus?
Exactly.
Okay.
There's no way we can pretend to live together when we are not in harmony. Okay. And nobody is an island. You cannot pretend to live alone. Even though we have that quest for identity, which is good. But my quest for identity shouldn't be to find myself alone. If we are not careful with the quest for identity, we'll end up as individuals in life. Okay. And nobody's an island. So with our individualism, with our individuality, we should come to a table to commune, to fellowship together with one another. Because when we come together, we encourage you, learn from me, I learn from you. I encourage you, you encourage me. Okay. We bear the burdens of one another. But when you isolate yourself into individualism, identity, you may end up alone somewhere.
And then to the mayor, which chapter
I will give them the chapter on mediation.
Okay, mediation?
Yeah, the mediators.
Why so?
You know, they are community leaders. Okay. And they are the ones to promote peace in their societies. They should go closer to their people, try to bring them together. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, for someone watching right now who is in the middle of a tense situation at work, in their community, what is the first step they should take tomorrow morning?
Okay, they should remember that reconciliation is the key. I will still go back to the Bible. The Bible says we are ambassadors of reconciliation. As God reconciled us to Christ, that's how we should reconcile one another to Christ himself or to God himself, because they are Muslims too. Exactly. So God created us and intended that we should live together in harmony. And the Bible says we should owe nobody anything except love. And that we should make peace as if everything depends on us for peace to reign. If you are not a peacemaker, you are completely out of God's plan.
It is time for us to take on the shelf, but you need to stay put. Okay. And for us to listen to Dr. Alphonse Tatamfo. On this part of On the Shelf, he's telling you and I who he is, the types of books he loves reading, and one which has impacted his life.
Thanks for having me on your program today. My name is Alphonse Tatamfo, a senior private sector and humanitarian professional and a scholar. Knowledge is power, and that's why Nelson Mandela declared when he left prison that the greatest weapon in the hands of humanity is knowledge, and that with knowledge we can change the world. And this is precisely why I've been reading very widely, from Cameroonian to African to European authors, in order to improve on my knowledge of the world and on how I can use this knowledge to improve on the lot of the people around me. And this is precisely why I have been reading books like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written by Stephen Covey, The Genuine Intellectual, on academic and social responsibility of universities in Africa, in which Professor Bernard Nsokika Fonlong takes time off to explain what the university is, who should be in the university, and what universities should be doing to improve on the academic and social life of the ecosystem within which they find themselves. I've also been reading Speeches That Changed the World, and I like this book because in it you find great speeches from likes of Nelson Mandela, Abdel Fidel Castro, of course, Martin Luther King Jr., and many other great people in history. I've been reading Communal Liberalism by Paul Biya, and I like this book, and I'll tell you why. In that book, the president has clearly articulated his thoughts as to what we need to do as a country to move forward. Liberalism, rigor, moralization. And I think that if we were to implement these key themes in our country as it should be, we would be a far better country than we are today. I've also been reading Adam Smith, An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations, because you would understand that the world is shaped and reshaped by economic factors. We're having wars around the world. The main reason behind these wars is economic interests. Finally, I want to say that we must develop a reading culture because there is a lot in books. Unfortunately, many have said that if you want to hide something from a Cameroonian, put it in writing. I want to use this opportunity to call on all Cameroonians to make it a point of duty to start reading, because truly there is knowledge in books. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us on this program. We are going to be drawing the curtains on this edition in a short while. But before we go, we need to ask you this question, Dr. Eunice. If the government and the civil society adopted one recommendation from your book, what would have the biggest impact, let's say, in the next 2 years?
Okay, I will say that the government and the civil society, they have to come to a compromise. They have to be willing and ready. I'm going back to willingness and readiness. They should be willing and ready, and they should agree that there is a problem. As I said, there's no smoke without fire. There is a problem. No matter how small the problem may be, or no matter how big it may be, they should agree that there is a problem, come to terms, and see how they can resolve the problem for the well-being of all the Cameroonians. Yes. They should make it in a way that the national cake be shared evenly. It is possible. So the nation should be generous to all the regions and distribute the national cake equally, and there will be peace.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you for bringing out this publication, because for those who are in dire need of resolving conflict within their homes, within communities, I think it's very important.
Yeah.
Okay, so get yourself a copy of How to Reach a Consensus, the Multicultural Context, in order to solve whatever problems you are going through, because the information in here is not just meant to solve should I say political issues?
No,
but
not
even conflict within
families,
within your home. How do people get copies of this book? How do they get to you?
You can get it from Nya Production, or even from me directly.
Yeah, Nya Production. Do you have a contact?
Yes, 671-485176.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We want to thank you for coming once again, and I want to thank you for watching this edition of The Book with Suzy. We equally want to thank Nya Publishers for being our resource person, or I should say Nya Hands, for being our resource person on this program, The Book with Suzy. Thank you for watching, and see you some other time. And thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being with you.